Hello, my name is Pooja. Welcome to the Sunday special episode of Around the World. We come up with this program every Wednesday, Friday, and Sunday. In this special program, we talk about the news which enhances your understanding of global politics. We will discuss one such news in today's story.
In terms of food grains, many countries are self-sufficient, while many countries are dependent on other countries. Countries that are dependent on grain exporting countries for food grains let the grain exporting countries decide whether food will be served on the tables of their citizens or not. Suppose only a handful of countries decide on whose table food will be served and on whose table food will not be served, then a food crisis will arise in the world. Earlier this year, when the war between Russia and Ukraine started, then the United Nations was apprehensive of the looming food crises as food prices skyrocketed after the war commenced. Since Russia and Ukraine are among the largest producers of various food grains, especially wheat, interruptions in their food grains exports due to the ongoing war could pose a major challenge for other countries. Therefore, Russia and Ukraine signed the Black Sea Grain Initiative in July 2022 with the efforts of the United Nations. But recently, Russia announced the suspension of this agreement. However, Russia later withdrew its suspension. But Russia's moves again gave rise to many controversies. Against this backdrop, several pertinent questions arise. Firstly, what are the reasons for the food crises? Secondly, why was there a need to sign an agreement for exporting food grains? Thirdly, why did Russia announce its withdrawal from this agreement? We will try to find answers to these questions in today's episode. But first of all, let us understand why the name of the Black Sea got associated with this grain agreement. When we look at the world map, then we find that both Russia and Ukraine share a coastline along the Black Sea. Both countries import and export through the Black Sea. There is a route connecting the Black Sea with the Marmara Sea, which is called the Bosporus Strait. The Bosporus Strait also connects to the Asian Sea and then to the Mediterranean Sea. This route is frequented by ships and is one of the busiest routes in the world. Since along with sharing the border with the Black Sea, Crimea is also now under Russian occupation. In such a scenario, Russian and Ukrainian ships could have been attacked while passing through the Black Sea. To avoid such a situation, the grain export agreement was signed. Since the Black Sea plays a pivotal role in this agreement, hence, this agreement was named the Black Sea Grain Initiative. Now, the question arises, what is the Black Sea Grain Initiative? Actually, when the war broke out between Russia and Ukraine, then all kinds of imports and exports were almost curbed. It led to a surge in the price of food items around the world. Millions of tons of food grains were stuck in warehouses at different levels. It was causing global food instability and starvation in developing countries that were on the verge of bankruptcy. Russia and Ukraine export wheat as well as oil and fertilizers. Hence, there was no solution to the global food crises without ensuring the availability of food products and fertilizers for the entire world. Therefore, Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, got the Black Sea Grain Initiative signed between the two countries. Russia and Ukraine signed the agreement in Istanbul, Turkey. Guterres and Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan were also present during the signing of the agreement. Turkey was also made a party in the agreement. Basically, the agreement aims to ensure the safe transportation of food grains and food items from the ports of Ukraine. The agreement establishes a corridor between Ukraine's three ports of Yuzhny, Chernomorsk, and Odessa, and the waters of Turkey. These are the three ports through which Ukraine exports 50% of its goods. Notably, Ukraine exports 75% of its agricultural products through ports located on the Black Sea. At this juncture, another significant question arises: why did Russia announce withdrawal from the Black Sea Grain Initiative? Actually, this agreement was signed for 120 days only. It was agreed that after November 2022, the agreement will either be extended or it will be abolished. In such a scenario, Ukraine was insisting on extending this agreement, but Russia suddenly announced withdrawal from the agreement. According to Russia, Ukraine attacked Russian Black Sea Fleet ships in the Crimean Peninsula. Recently, the bridge connecting Russia to Crimea was also attacked. This bridge was badly damaged due to the bomb attack. Russia blamed Ukraine for carrying out the attacks, although Ukraine has denied the charges leveled by Russia. In retaliation, Russia announced withdrawal from the Black Sea Grain Initiative. Furthermore, the US has reacted strongly to Russia's withdrawal from the Black Sea Grain Initiative. President Biden has stated that Russia is using food grains as a weapon. The US called Russia's move humiliating, and it will lead to starvation and a food crisis in the world. Now let us know about the reasons due to which Biden has called Russia's withdrawal from the agreement humiliating. Actually, Russia is the largest wheat exporter in the world. Ukraine and Russia together export a quarter of the world's wheat. Actually, what will be served on the tables of millions of people in Europe, Africa, and Asia is decided by Russia and Ukraine. Any shortfall in the supply of wheat from Russia and Ukraine could drive up demand and prices for wheat grown in other parts of the world, including Australia, Argentina, and the US. It will impact the lives of the common people around the world. It will not only lead to a food crisis but also an economic crisis. Therefore, there must not be any restrictions on the export of food grains to contribute to food security around the world and reduce hazards to life on a global scale. Therefore, it is necessary that amid the ongoing Russia-Ukraine war, grain exports from the Black Sea should continue without any restrictions so that the whole world can be saved from any kind of food crisis. Now we come to the next segment of the Sunday special episode of Around the World. In this segment, we will talk about other significant international news. Many countries of the world have turned against Russia due to the Russia-Ukraine war, but India has maintained its neutrality in some matters. Recently, Indian Foreign Minister S. Jaishankar announced that India will continue to purchase oil from Russia. He made this announcement during a conversation with his Russian counterpart, Sergei Lavrov. Significantly, India is the third largest consumer of oil and gas in the world. Hence, India must increase its access to the international markets for oil. The G20 summit is to be held in Bali, Indonesia. The summit is likely to be dominated by international tensions due to the Russia-Ukraine war. Meanwhile, Indonesian President Joko Widodo has stated that Russian President Vladimir Putin will not participate in the summit. Significantly, it will be the first meeting of the world's largest economies since Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Notably, the G20 group includes 19 countries and the European Union, which represent more than 60% of the world's population. The G20 group covers about 80% of the world's GDP and 75% of the world's trade. Recently, the United Nations has warned of a severe food crisis in Sri Lanka, a South Asian island nation. Actually, the number of Sri Lankans in need of immediate humanitarian aid has more than doubled to about 3.4 million. Sri Lanka is facing its worst economic crisis since its independence from Britain in 1948. Since 2021, Sri Lanka is facing problems like rising inflation, power blackout, and fuel rationing. Amid these problems, Sri Lanka declared itself bankrupt in July 2022. That's all in this episode. Let us note down the question based on today's story. What is the Black Sea Grain Initiative? Why did the United Nations need to initiate this agreement? Describe.